this video, we're going to do an unboxing of the Netgear NeoTV streaming player NTV200. Now, it's interesting because Netgear actually made a Roku box. They licensed out the technology and they made their own version of the Roku. But they no longer do that, and they make their own box now, which has their own software on it. And this is what it is. This is that box. So I saw this at Best Buy, and I thought, well, this is interesting because I like to review these things, and I'm going to pick this up and basically see how it stacks up to my Roku box. Now, this is obviously more in line with a Roku because it's, basically the same kind of box. You plug it into your television set and you get different channels on it. You can stream Netflix on it and the like. The only difference is that the Roku offers a variety of channels, actually hundreds of channels, and this box seems to offer some of the more well-known channels. But I don't know much about this device other than seeing it at Best Buy and really liking what I'm seeing, and so I'm going to take you through the whole process of unboxing this, and then we're actually going to plug it in for the first time in one of my future videos and explore this device and see what it has to offer. Now, right off the bat, you're going to notice that there's a couple of differences between this box and the Roku box. Obviously, you can stream Netflix on both devices, but this device offers Vudu. I actually owned the dedicated Vudu player a couple of years ago, and I really liked it because it has some of the best streaming quality available. And it is a pay-per-view basis, so it's something more like an on-demand where you buy or you rent a movie and watch it. It's not like Netflix where you have a subscription. You also notice that this device offers YouTube, which the Roku does not. You get Pandora, Napster, Picasa, Facebook, Twitter, and Vimeo integration on this as well. Now, it has built-in Wi-Fi, which is pretty much standard, except the Western Digital device didn't have it up until recently, and it offers HD 1080p, which is nice to know. Now, one of the things that really made me want to try out this device is that there's an app in the Apple App Store and an app in the Android market where you can actually use your Apple iDevice, whether it's an iPhone or an iPod Touch, to use it as a remote control for this device, and the same is true for Android devices. So I found that very interesting. It does come with the remote itself, but you can actually use an app to control this device as well. So I thought that was really cool. So let me take you on a tour of the box. Pretty much the front, pretty self-explanatory. On the side here, gives you some of the features, notably the 1080p HD streaming, built-in wireless N technology for extended range. It also is BG compatible, has an Ethernet port on it, HDMI video output, and 5.1 surround sound, so that's really good to know. Package contains obviously the streaming player and a remote and some batteries. HDMI cable is not included here. You get your power adapter and your quick start guide. System requirements: you need a broadband internet connection and a PC or tablet with internet browser for service activation, and TV with HDMI input and cable. So this is an HDMI box only. On the back here, basically explaining what it does: that you can stream movies, that you can turn your TV into a smart TV. You can use an app like I explained, and there shows it a little bit there what the app looks like. I will go into that in detail when I actually have this device set up. Let's see what's on the other side. All right, why don't we just get to it? Let's open this box up and see what's on the inside here. All right. Now, they actually didn't have a floor model, so I don't know what this looks like other than the pictures on the box. But let's see, I think it comes out this way. Here we go. Put the box to the side. You get your documentation here, installation guide, and some more documentation there. And it's actually a very small box, which is pretty cool. Here is the remote control here, when we get that out. Pretty simple, fits nice in the hand, made out of a plastic. And that's where your batteries go in here. It's actually already installed. You just have to pull this plastic out to initiate the batteries. Now, that's one thing I didn't like about the Roku XS, the Roku 2 XS, is that it really was a battery hog. So I'll be happy to use a regular remote again, and that I don't have to replace the batteries on constantly. Here's the wall adapter that comes with it, and then here's the device itself. Let's open this up. Alright, there we go. And it's got a protective plastic on it, so let's peel that off. So here's the device itself. Around the top you can see all around the side here there's a trench, and that's for venting. And there's also a trench all the way around the device along the bottom here. Now the front of the device, you have a NeoTV branding here, and I don't know if there are any LEDs in here. There's probably an LED in here somewhere to show you that it's on. The right side of the device, there's nothing here, same as on the left. On the back of the device, you have your Ethernet port, your HDMI port, your SPDIF port for your digital audio, and then of course you have your power jack here. On the top of the device you have your Netgear branding, and it's a glossy plastic. And on the bottom of the device you have your 4 rubber feet, and you have a reset button right here. Now this device is non-upgradable. On some devices, such as the Roku device, it has a USB port in it where you can actually plug a USB flash drive or a USB drive into it. This device does not have any USB ports on it, and it does not have any micro SD card slots on the back at all. So pretty much this is a contained, self-contained streamer where you're going to be streaming from the channels that Netgear offers on the device, and that's pretty much it. Now I happen to have my Roku device here, so you can see the difference in size here. This is the Roku 2 XS, and as you can see the Roku 2 is a little bit smaller than is the Netgear device here. And let me just turn that so you can get an idea. And the height on both devices is about the same. I think the Roku might be a little bit taller. So let's go back to the remote here. The remote right here, you see it's made out of a plastic, and you have your Netgear branding on the bottom, and there's a texture to it, almost like a metal texture, but it is actually plastic. You have your buttons here, your color buttons, which is a red, a green, a yellow, and a blue, and I assume that's used for different context-sensitive functions on the device if you're playing a game or whatnot. You have your control buttons here, your stop, your next chapter, your previous chapter, your rewind, your pause and play, your fast forward. Then you have a return button, which usually is about a 10-second rewind, or if you're returning out of a menu, you can go one step back. You have your menu button, then you have your directional pad up here, which has an OK button in the center. So you have an up, down, left, right, and then your OK button, and then you have a home button here and a power button. Now one thing about the Roku device is an always-on device, and this actually has a power button, so I guess you can power it down if you want. And this is an IR remote, so you can see it right up here. So it's pretty much you have to have it in line of sight, but that generally is not a problem when you're in your living room. On the sides, you can see the profile of this thing. It's kind of tapered on the sides here. And that's the back of the remote there. And just to give you a comparison here, here's the Roku 2 XS remote here. And as you can see, it has the lanyard on there because you can use motion-controlled gaming on the Roku 2 device. So the remote is much larger than is the Netgear remote. And let me just show you here a profile view of both remotes there. Now one thing I have noticed is that the Roku 2 XS remote is a battery hog. I've gone through many rechargeable AA batteries on this device. The one thing I do like about the Roku remote in comparison, I mean you have a lot of the same layout here, but it seems very intuitive with this cross up here, you know, to control the device, and then you have your OK button, and of course your other buttons down here. So there's a couple more buttons here on the Netgear remote. I don't think it's going to be too difficult to use it, but that's a comparison between the two remotes here. About the same height, and obviously a little wider. So that is the Netgear NeoTV streaming player. I'm very anxious to get it hooked up and see what it has to offer. So that pretty much does it for this video. I'll see you guys next time.